Let me tell you something that changed my entire relationship with money. Money is not meant to be chased. It's meant to be trained. Too many people spend their entire lives working for money, yet never learn how to make money work for them. They become slaves to the very thing they were meant to master. You see, money is a terrible master. It controls, it demands, it dictates your emotions. But as a servant, it's powerful. It builds freedom, it multiplies opportunities, and it gives you the quiet confidence to live life on your own terms. I remember when I first started working, I was earning just a few dollars an hour. And like most people, as soon as I got it, I spent it. Then one day, my mentor asked, "How much of your paycheck are you keeping?" I said, "None." He said, "Then you're working for everybody but yourself." That day, I learned one of the most valuable lessons of wealth. Pay yourself first. Before you pay the landlord, before you pay the government, before you pay for dinner or entertainment, make sure you've paid the most important person in your financial life, you. You must give every dollar a job before it leaves your hand. If you don't, it will find its own way into someone else's pocket. Most people let money slip through their fingers because they never assign it a purpose. But when you automate your savings, when you invest consistently, when you create a system that keeps your money moving, now you're operating like the wealthy. They don't let emotions decide what to do with their money. They let systems and principles guide them. Start simple. Set up automatic transfers into an investment account, even if it's a small amount. Let time and discipline do their compounding magic. The moment you realize that every dollar is a little employee working for you, your life changes. You begin to see that financial freedom isn't about having millions. It's about control over your time, your choices, and your future. Money is a tool, nothing more. Use it wisely and it will build for you. Abuse it and it will break you. The goal is not to worship money, but to master it, to make it your servant. Because when money serves you, you can finally serve your purpose. Wealth doesn't begin in your wallet, it begins in your mind. The moment you shift how you think about money, opportunity, and yourself, everything outside of you starts to change. Most people try to fix their financial life by working harder, but that's not where wealth starts. Wealth starts with awareness, with expanding the boundaries of what you believe is possible for you. I learned early on that poor people think about survival, middle class people think about comfort, and the wealthy think about multiplication. It's not about how much money you have, it's about the mindset that governs it. A person earning a modest income with the right mindset will, as I always, outgrow someone earning a high income with the wrong one. Because the wealthy don't just work for money, they make money work for them, and that begins with how they think about money. When I was younger, I used to believe that rich people were simply lucky. I'd look at someone successful and think, they must have had the right connections or the right timing. But then I realized something life changing. It wasn't luck, it was mindset. They thought differently. They saw abundance where others saw limitation. They believed in opportunity when others believed in scarcity. And slowly I began to train my own mind the same way. You have to visualize abundance before you ever experience it. The mind is a magnet. It attracts what it's focused on. If you constantly tell yourself, "I can't afford that," your mind shuts down. But if you ask, "How can I afford that?" your mind begins to work. One question limits, the other expands. The difference is subtle but profound. Every day, you must replace one limiting belief with one empowering belief. Tell yourself, "I'm learning to multiply what I earn. I'm becoming the kind of person wealth can trust." Feed your mind with powerful ideas through books, audio programs, mentors, and people who challenge your comfort zone. I used to listen to motivational recordings while driving, turning my car into a classroom. Every mile became a lesson. Every trip became an investment in mindset. Over time, those small changes in thinking led to enormous changes in living. So, if you want to change your life, start by changing your thoughts. Wealth isn't a number, it's a perspective. Once your mind expands to the level of abundance, your wallet will rise to meet it, because your income can only grow to the extent that you do. One of the first lessons I had to learn about wealth was this: it's not what you make that matters, it's what you keep. You can earn a fortune and still end up broke if you don't know how to hold on to it. The problem isn't that people don't make enough, it's that they don't manage what they already have. Money has a funny habit. It runs from the hands of those who don't respect it. It's like sand slipping through open fingers. Unless you learn to contain it, it will always find its way out. When I first started earning a little more than I needed, I made the same mistake many do. I thought more income meant more room to spend. I upgraded everything: clothes, car, habits. And before I knew it, I was back where I started, just with better furniture. That's when I realized the rich don't get rich by earning more. They get rich by keeping more. Retention comes before multiplication. It's the foundation on which every fortune stands. You see, people want to jump to the exciting part, the investments, the real estate, the business expansions, but without discipline in keeping, multiplication becomes destruction. You can't build wealth on financial chaos. Before you learn to grow money, you must learn to protect it. Start with the simple rule: save a fixed percentage of everything you earn, even if it's small. 10% might not sound like much, but it's not about the amount, it's about the habit. The moment you start keeping a portion of your income, you send a message to your subconscious mind: I am in control. That feeling of control is the seed of wealth. Track your expenses every week. Most people are financially blind, they don't know where their money goes. But awareness precedes control. Once you can see your spending patterns, you can begin to change them. And remember this: it's not deprivation, it's direction. You're not restricting yourself, you're redirecting your resources toward freedom. Before you start chasing investments, build an emergency fund. That fund isn't just for financial security, it's for emotional security. Because when you have a cushion, you make decisions from power, not panic. And when you operate from calm, you make smarter moves. I've seen people make millions and lose them just as quickly because they never learned this principle. They multiplied before they managed. So take this truth to heart: wealth is not built on income. It's built on intelligence. If you can keep it, you can grow it. But if you can't keep it, no amount of earning will ever make you free. Wealth begins the moment you master the art of keeping what you earn. Everything you want in life will always be attracted to the person you become. That's a truth most people overlook. They chase success, they chase money, they chase recognition, but they forget that all of those things are attracted, not pursued. If you want to have more, you must first become more. You don't get paid for the time you put in, you get paid for the value you bring to that time. And the only way to bring more value is to become a better version of yourself. When I was young, I used to ask, how can I make more money? That's the wrong question. The real question is, how can I make myself more valuable? Because the marketplace rewards value. If you improve your skills, sharpen your mind, and elevate your attitude, the world will begin to pay attention. You don't need to chase opportunities. Opportunities begin to chase you. I remember when I was working as a clerk for a small company, earning next to nothing. My mentor told me, don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. That single sentence changed my life. I realized the problem wasn't the company, the paycheck, or the economy. The problem was me. I wasn't yet the person capable of earning more. So I made a decision that day I would work harder on myself than I did on my job. Every day, I read for 30 minutes. It didn't matter how busy I was, that was non-negotiable. Books became my private mentorships, my university of success. And slowly, something remarkable happened. My thinking changed. And when your thinking changes, your results follow. I started making better decisions, speaking with more confidence, solving bigger problems. And as I grew, so did my income. If you want your wealth to grow, your wisdom must grow faster. Attend seminars, listen to mentors. Surround yourself with people who think higher, act sharper, and expect more of themselves. You'll absorb their mindset just by being around them. And once a year, reinvent yourself. Ask, what new skill have I added? What outdated belief have I replaced? because stagnation is the silent enemy of success. Remember, the world doesn't pay you for what you know, it pays you for what you do with what you know. The key to wealth is self-improvement. You can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't expect abundance from a stagnant mind. Become more, and you will attract more. That's not magic, that's maturity. Wealth is simply a mirror reflecting who you've decided to become. Most people spend their lives reacting to bills, reacting to stress, reacting to opportunities that slip away because they never built the structure to handle them. But let me tell you something, success isn't found in chaos, it's found in order. Don't wish for fewer problems, wish for more skills. Don't wish life were easier, wish you were smarter in the way you manage it. The truth is, stress is what happens when systems are missing. The wealthy don't run faster, they build better systems. When I started out, I used to manage everything with effort alone, working late nights, juggling tasks, and trying to remember every little thing. It was exhausting. But then I realized something powerful: you can't scale chaos. You can't multiply disorganization. If you want to grow, whether it's in business or life, you need systems that think for you when you're tired, that work even when you don't feel motivated. Systems don't get emotional, they just perform. So I began to automate simple things. Bills were paid automatically. A portion of every check went straight into savings and investments before I ever saw it. That way, I never had to make the decision twice. I built a routine, a rhythm of reviewing my goals every Sunday evening, checking progress every month, and adjusting every quarter. It wasn't glamorous, but it was powerful. Because discipline may start the process, but systems sustain it. Think about it, athletes don't rely on daily motivation, they rely on training systems. Pilots don't fly on feelings, they rely on checklists. Farmers don't pray for crops alone, they plant, water, and measure. That's what systems do, they remove luck from the equation and replace it with predictability. If you want to build wealth, don't depend on moods or moments. Build systems that multiply your consistency. One of the most valuable lessons I ever learned was this: stress is a signal that something can be automated, delegated, or systemized. The more decisions you automate, the more focus you save for creativity and leadership. You don't need to be a genius every day. You just need a system that keeps you productive on ordinary days. So here's the challenge: you build repeatable habits that work even on your worst days. Automate your finances, systemize your priorities, and schedule your growth. Because when systems run your routine, freedom runs your life. And freedom, my friends, is the ultimate goal, not to have more work, but to have more life. When you start thinking about wealth, most people stop at money, but that's not the finish line, it's only the beginning. You see, real wealth isn't what you leave for people, it's what you leave in them. Money fades, but values echo. The goal isn't just to make a living, but to design a life that outlives you. One that continues to serve, teach, and inspire long after you're gone. That's the difference between success and significance. When I was young, I thought wealth was about earning more income, more possessions, more recognition. But as I grew wiser, I discovered that the true measurement of wealth is impact. What systems continue to function when you're not around? What values continue to guide your family when your voice is silent? What opportunities still grow because you had the foresight to plant the right seeds? That's the essence of legacy wealth. It's not built in a year, it's built in a lifetime of decisions. I often tell people, don't just raise children, raise future leaders. Don't just give them money, teach them the philosophy that built it. Money without wisdom is dangerous, but wisdom can create money again and again. Sit down with your children or those you mentor. Talk about saving, investing, gratitude, and discipline. Let them see how you think, not just what you earn. The greatest inheritance isn't in a will, it's in the wisdom you pass on daily. And beyond family, think bigger. Build systems that serve your community, a foundation, a scholarship fund, a mentorship program. Invest in ideas that solve real problems. Buy assets that generate income for generations, real estate, businesses, intellectual property. Structure your wealth so it continues to give, even while you rest in peace. Because wealth that dies with you isn't wealth. It's just unspent potential. Now, legacy isn't just about what you leave behind, but who you become in the process. The person you become while building that legacy, disciplined, generous, wise, that's what inspires others to continue your story. When people remember you, they won't recall your bank balance. They'll recall your principles. They'll remember how you lived, how you gave, how you grew. So build something that lasts. Create structures that protect your wealth, systems that expand it, and a philosophy that sustains it. Because when your name is no longer spoken, your work, your wisdom, and your wealth should still whisper your values to the world. That, my friends, is the ultimate definition of success, not to die rich, but to live remembered. If there's one thing that separates the wealthy from the average, it's this: the rich study patterns, not paychecks. Most people look at their income and think that's where the story ends. But those who build wealth for a lifetime understand that money leaves clues. It moves in cycles. It follows habits. It rewards those who are observant enough to notice its rhythm. The wealthy aren't guessing, they're studying. They treat the flow of money like a language. And once you learn to speak it, you never go broke again. I learned early in my career that most people chase the next paycheck without ever stopping to ask why they're still living paycheck to paycheck. They never stop long enough to examine their financial habits, their spending triggers, or their earning patterns. They think more money will fix the problem, but more money without wisdom only magnifies mistakes. The rich don't think that way. They take the time to study how money behaves, both in their lives and in the marketplace. They track what brings in the most value, what wastes time, and where their energy earns the greatest return. I remember once, when I was just starting out in business, I decided to study my sales numbers. I didn't just look at totals, I studied patterns. I noticed that my best results came not from random effort, but from consistent habits, the same calls made early in the morning, the same follow-ups done weekly, the same customers who always responded when I showed up with value. That taught me something powerful. Success isn't mysterious, it's methodical. If you study the right data long enough, it reveals where your wealth hides. The same principle applies to your personal finances. Track where every dollar goes for 30 days. You'll be amazed at how much your habits explain your bank account. Study what you spend impulsively versus what you invest intentionally. Notice which decisions bring long-term peace and which bring short-term pleasure. Wealth grows in awareness. The poor ignore numbers because they're uncomfortable. The rich confront them because they're informative. And it's not just about personal habits, it's about economic awareness too. Study your industry. Learn how markets shift, how technology changes behavior, how value migrates from one area to another. Those who understand trends before others act upon them, they don't chase opportunities, they create them. The goal is to move from reaction to prediction. To stop guessing and start observing. Because when you study the flow of money, you begin to see that it behaves like water. It moves toward value, discipline, and structure. Learn that pattern, and you'll never drown in financial uncertainty again. Time is the greatest lever of wealth. It's the one resource we all begin with equally, yet it's the one most people spend the most carelessly. See, money lost can be earned again, but time spent is gone forever. The secret of the wealthy isn't that they have more time, it's that they use their time differently. The average person trades time for money, hour for hour, day for day, while the wealthy trade time for leverage. They understand that time, when compounded through systems, delegation, and discipline, becomes the most powerful wealth-building force in existence. I remember the days when I thought working harder was the answer. I used to wear my long hours like a badge of honor, until I met a man who worked half as much and earned 10 times more. That meeting changed everything. He said, "You don't get paid for the hours you work. You get paid for the value those hours produce." That hit me like a hammer. It wasn't effort that created wealth, it was effectiveness. He spent his hours building systems that worked while he slept, people that produced while he rested, and investments that earned while he thought. That's when I realized Real wealth is built when you stop doing all the work and start designing how the work gets done. Most people waste their days reacting to problems instead of planning their progress. They let interruptions, emails, and distractions steal the most precious asset they own: focused time. The wealthy guard their calendars the way the poor guard their wallets. They know every yes to a distraction is a no to destiny. That's why they schedule time for what truly matters, for learning, for thinking, for creating. They understand that clarity doesn't come in chaos, it comes in quiet reflection. Another key to mastering time is delegation. You can't build an empire by doing everything yourself. The wealthy ask, "Who can do this?" While others ask, "How can I do this?" One question multiplies your time, the other traps you in it. Pay someone to handle what doesn't multiply your value. If someone can do a task at 80% of your ability, delegate it. Use that time to focus on your highest contribution: building, creating, thinking, leading. So measure your day not by how busy you were, but by how effective you were. Did you create something that lasts beyond today? Did you invest your hours into something that pays dividends tomorrow? The secret is simply spend time like money, with intention, with awareness, and with leverage. Because while money can make you rich, only time, wisely used, can make you truly free.